Are you looking to upgrade your video setup? Maybe you have an entry-level camera and are looking to make the next step, but professional cameras aren't for you. So in this case, mid-range is what you need to look for. So before we get started, you need to understand what mid-range cameras are. Mid-range cameras fall in the category in between entry-level and semi-professional cameras. They offer a lot more advanced features like removable lenses, as well as higher definition shooting. They often have features that you need if you're looking to create cinematic content. Now, if you're looking for a camera in between $300 to $500 that comes already included with the lens, so you don't have to worry about buying anything else right off the bat, I would highly recommend looking at the Canon M200. This camera is amazing. It is not a simple point and shoot camera. However, it does offer better features like removable lenses, as well as 4K shooting and video, as well as give you the ability to shoot some pretty high quality photos right out of the camera. This camera utilizes an APS-C size sensor, so if you are looking around to buy other Canon camera lenses, this would be your best option, especially with this mount. You can literally find a dime a dozen, especially on the used market. This camera also has an HDMI port, so you can use this camera not only to create content on the go, but also live stream. One of the amazing things about Canon cameras is the fact that you have dual pixel autofocus, so you don't have to worry about not having your subject in focus, especially when you're shooting video. The Canon M200 has the ability to shoot 4K at 24 frames per second, as well as 60 frames per second at 1920 by 1080 and 120 frames per second in standard definition 720p. So if you're in the price range of buying a brand new camera in between $300 to $500, I would highly recommend the Canon M200. So now, if you have a budget in between $500 and $1,000, the camera I would highly recommend you look at and understand to get is the Sony ZV-E10. This camera was released at the later half of 2020. However, because of the shortages, it was out of stock for a very long time. Only now coming back into stock for the holiday season. It's honestly a really great camera. At first glance, it looks like your ordinary content creator slash vlogging camera. This camera is well-rounded and really suitable for any occasion. From those of you who want to create high quality content on YouTube, to those that just want to take really good pictures. It has a great built-in mic, as well as give you the ability to add a microphone on top on the cold shoe, as well as have a flip out screen where you can actually see yourself while you're recording. For a long time, Sony cameras did not have these articulating flip out screens, so you had to kind of rely on just getting your shot framed right. But now with this flip out fully articulating screen, you can now see yourself and make sure that you are capturing your content correctly. This camera has an APS-C size sensor, so you can use any Sony E-mount glass on this camera, as well as other third-party manufacturers of lenses for this camera. So if you're on a budget, you can find some pretty cheap lenses right off the bat, or if you want to go all out and ball out and you have all the money in the world, you can get the G Master lenses that are designed for that size sensor. This camera can shoot 4K at 24, 25, or even 30 frames per second, as well as 60 or even 120 frames per second in HD. Sony's autofocus system is one of the best in the market. They also use a phase detect autofocus similar to Canon, so you don't have to worry about your subject being out of focus. It has a lot of the features that you need as a content creator, so if you're live streaming, you can use this camera as a webcam. Sony is known for having good color science. This camera also gives you the ability to shoot in their proprietary log format. And best of all, you can find this camera for under $1,000 with a lens. This camera honestly is one of my favorite picks due to the fact that I have access to some camera gear here, and one of those cameras is a Sony a6300. And putting these cameras next to each other and comparing them both, they're both about the same price range, but the ZV-E10 has a lot better features, especially that flip out screen. So now for those of you who have a budget between $1,000 and $2,000 and want the very best camera that you can get your hands on, and that is where the Sony a7C comes in. The Sony a7C is a hybrid camera by design. This camera is a full frame camera, so you have the ability to shoot super high resolution photos as well as video, featuring Sony's coveted in-body stabilization, as well as the ability for you to shoot in 4K. This camera also has a flip out screen, so for those of you who want a camera with a flip out screen where you can see yourself, it's perfect for you. And we can't forget about Sony's autofocus system that just doesn't seem to ever lose track of the subject. And if you're really looking for some advanced video features like monitoring your audio as well as plugging in an external shotgun microphone, then this camera is going to be definitely for you. It has the ability for you to plug in a shotgun mic right on the top, as well as for you to plug in some headphones so you can monitor your audio while you're recording. Just like the other Sony camera I mentioned, you can also shoot 4K, 24, 25, or even 30 frames per second, as well as up to 120 frames per second in HD. This being a full frame camera and you using the correct E-mount full frame lens, you actually have a wider field of view, obviously depending on the lens that you get. So if you want the ability for you to shoot the best content, I would highly recommend the Sony a7C. So whether it's the Canon M200, the Sony ZV-E10, or the Sony a7C, these camera systems are truly designed for those of you who want to create content, but you don't need those super advanced features that you get in the semi-professional or even in the professional lineup of cameras. So if you're interested in any of the cameras that I've talked about on this video, I have them linked down in the description down below, as well as all the gear that I use to create this content. I have a video detailing the 4 tiers that you need to understand, so if you really want to deep dive and understand camera systems more, have a look at this video down here. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.